The old stone castle stood silent against the gray sky, its towers stretching into the mist like watchful eyes. It was supposed to be a fun school trip, an overnight stay for the senior class at St. Mary's Academy. But within hours, the castle became a prison. And the person responsible wasn't a stranger. It was one of their own. Ethan Cole, popular, handsome, feared by most, had always gotten what he wanted. His smirk was the kind that made weaker students shrink away. For years, his bullying went unchecked. Teachers ignored it. Students whispered about it. But no one dared to stand up to him. Until tonight. It started when the students were exploring the castle's underground tunnels, a maze of cold, echoing halls that smelled of dust and secrets. Ethan convinced everyone to follow him deeper, claiming there was a hidden room that used to belong to a mad prince. Some believed him. Others followed because no one wanted to look scared. When the last student stepped inside, the heavy iron door slammed shut. The sound rang through the stone chamber like a gunshot. Panic erupted. The torches flickered. 15 students realized they were trapped, with no phone signal, no light from the outside, and no way out. And outside, Ethan laughed. "Enjoy the night," he called. "Let's see how brave you all are when the ghosts come out." Then he locked the door from the outside. Hours passed. Fear spread like fire. Some students cried, others pounded the door, and a few sat in silence, trying not to lose hope. But among them was a quiet girl named Lila Monroe. She wasn't one of the popular ones, nor was she invisible. She was just different. Calm, observant, the kind of person who noticed everything. What no one knew was that Lila had been planning this for weeks. Ethan had humiliated her best friend months ago, making her life a nightmare until she transferred schools. That night, when the principal announced the class trip, Lila decided she would stop Ethan once and for all. She researched the castle, its structure, and its secret passages. When she found out that one of the old tunnels had a hidden mechanism to lock from inside, an idea was born. But Lila's plan wasn't revenge, it was revelation. She wanted to make Ethan see what fear felt like. To make him confront himself. When the door shut, Lila didn't panic. Instead, she turned toward a small crack in the wall. Behind a tapestry lay a second exit, one she'd discovered during a private tour the day before. Quietly, she slipped through it and into a parallel corridor that led up to the tower where Ethan stood. Laughing into the darkness, she found him pacing, flashlight in hand, muttering to himself. "Let's see how long before they cry," he sneered. Funny, Lila's voice echoed behind him, calm and sharp. "You sound scared already." Ethan froze. The beam of his flashlight trembled as it found her face. How did you get out?" he stammered. Lila stepped forward, her eyes steady. "You didn't lock us in, Ethan. You locked yourself in." Before he could react, there was a heavy click behind him. The tower door slammed shut. The same iron sound he'd made them hear earlier. Only this time, it was Ethan who was trapped. "Wait, what are you doing?" he shouted, pounding on the door. Lila didn't yell. She just stood there, the quiet intensity of years of pain filling her words. "You made people live in fear for so long. Maybe it's time you learn what that feels like." Ethan's face twisted in anger, then in something else, confusion, maybe fear. "This isn't funny, Lila. Let me out." She looked at him for a long moment. "It wasn't funny when you made Jordan cry every day. Or when you ruined Maya's scholarship interview. Or when you told everyone about my father just to get laughs." Her voice trembled for the first time. "You think pain makes you powerful, but it just makes you small." She turned away, her footsteps echoing as she walked down the stairs. Ethan shouted until his voice cracked. For hours, he sat in the dark tower, cold and alone, the same way so many of his victims had felt because of him. And for the first time, he wasn't laughing. Meanwhile, Lila returned to the group. She guided them through the hidden tunnel and out into the courtyard. The relief was overwhelming. Tears, hugs, and disbelief that she'd managed to get them all out safely. By morning, teachers and police arrived. Ethan was found trembling in the tower, pale and silent. He didn't say a word. Weeks later, the story spread across the school like wildfire. Some said Lila went too far. Others called her a hero. But one thing was clear: Ethan was never the same. He stopped bullying. He apologized awkwardly, sincerely, to everyone he'd hurt, and Lila? She never bragged, never sought attention. When asked why she did it, she simply said, "Sometimes people don't change until they see themselves in the dark." Years later, when she was invited back to the school as a motivational speaker, she ended her talk with those same words. The auditorium was silent. Even Ethan, now a teacher himself, sat in the audience, eyes lowered, remembering that night in the castle, because that night wasn't about revenge, it was about redemption, and it all began with a bully who thought he trapped his victims, but ended up trapped by his own cruelty instead.